So my advice on relationships when it comes to cohabiting: don't cohabit. Hi guys, it's your girl Mutamz, also known as Gelopazed Umwanakashiwapa Zambia. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please subscribe so that each time I upload videos, you will be notified that I have uploaded a video. At this stage, you've obviously watched my part 1 of my testimony, part 2, part 1 of my dating a Ghanaian man, and part 2 of my dating of a Ghanaian man. And I thought I could just talk about this topic, as you can see with the title, cohabiting. Obviously, we're talking about cohabiting simply because I have done it myself. And one thing that I do on my YouTube channel is that I like to talk about things that I have experienced. And from my experience, I give you my views of things and then conclude with my personal advice. I'm not an expert, but I that's what I do normally on my YouTube channel. So I was staying with somebody from Ghana. For those of you who've watched my series, I was living with him since 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 8 years of cohabiting. 7 to 8 years of cohabiting. Now, some would say cohabiting is a good thing because then you get to know each other. And others would say, no, cohabiting is not a good thing. And obviously from a biblical aspect of you, as not advisable to cohabit with a man who's not yet your husband. And I will talk about all these things from different angles. So you're an African, you come to the Western world where there's lots of conditions in order for you to stabilize your stay here. And one of the most affected areas is relationships and marriage, because it's either you have a baby with someone who's a citizen here, or you are settled with somebody who is a citizen here, or you meet somebody and you decide you want to be together. Now, there is the aspect of bills. Bills can be so expensive, especially down south in London, in Reading, compared to up here in Northeast and Scotland. Rentals are cheaper. So you find that young people like myself, obviously that time I was young, I meet another guy who's single, who has no kids, and I only have one child in Africa, and obviously when I'm in the UK at that time I didn't have any child living with me. So we are both single, and then we meet. The first thing that will come to our minds will be like, oh, we like each other. Where do you stay? I stay here, I'm renting a room. Oh, I stay here, I'm renting a room. And then maybe when I visit my partner, I find that, we don't have that freedom because he's living with all these people because he's renting a room. And then when he comes to my place as well, he doesn't have that freedom because I'm renting a room. So we decide to get a house, 1-bedroom flat, because that's what we need. We need our privacy so we can host people to come over. Now, when you're in a relationship with a man, as a woman, one of the few things that you should first of all find out from the man is, where is this relationship going? And are we just having a game, or is it a serious relationship? Are you planning to take me to my parents, or you're just planning for us to be living together? Now, what happened to me was that I started living with this man without my parents' consent. My parents never knew. They never knew that I was living with a man. And I did this for a whole year until I even delivered my first British-born baby, Ellen. So when I delivered her, the day I was in hospital was the day I called my mom. I was like, Mommy, you have a grandchild here. And each time I would take pictures of myself when I was still pregnant, I would take pictures of my face up without showing my bottom. And Mom was like, your face looks very big. Are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm okay. But I didn't want to tell her the truth that I was pregnant. And then it took me telling my mom, and then my mom broke the news to my dad. And obviously, because I was independent, it didn't carry too much weight compared to like if I was living with my parents. But having said that, I recognize my mistakes as an individual. That's what I'm sharing. And one of the things that I would like to tell young women out there is that no matter how much a man promises to love you, that he'll marry you, and all those lovely words, never cohabit with a man, number one. 2, never have a baby with a man who has not yet met your parents. This is for our African culture. In the African context, if a man wants to marry a woman, he needs to approach the family. So if you are living with a man and he expects you to do all these things, iron, cook, wash, do all these things, because you are more like a wife, but cheaply giving yourself to this man. And I admit I made that mistake. So I'm not here to condemn those people who are doing that, but I'm saying I made the mistake of giving myself to somebody and say, let's start living together, had one kid, had another child for this person, lived for all these years without a penny of dowry. We need to value ourselves as women. Now, even if I have 4 kids, I will say this, we need to value ourselves as women because my market has not yet finished. I'm still valued. So you need to value yourself as a woman by evaluating any situation, relationship situation. When you meet a man, he's independent, he's got a job, he's doing all these things, and then he just wants you to move in with him, and he has not even proposed, run away. Because that relationship will end up in a breakup. It's better for someone to marry you and realize the mistakes in marriage, and because he's already in marriage, you will work out your relationship. But if it's cohabiting, the person has already seen the negative side of you, the positive side of you. This person will never marry you. So I was living with this person all these years, no marriage. And that is the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. The good part is that I have beautiful daughters. But if I were to turn my tables or turn my time, I would say I would have rather told this person, can you meet my family first? Let my family know you. But then my family got to know this person after there was a baby. And when there was a baby, I informed my mom that I had a baby, and she did the informing to my dad. And it was quite shameful on my part that I had a child for someone who had not married me for the second time, because I had the first one, a boy. My parents didn't want me to marry that guy. That's just out of the question. But for this one, I was more in control of this relationship. I should have done things better. Then I went to a church, VPA, Victoria Pentecostal Assembly of God Church. I went to a church. I met a lovely pastor named Pastor Alex Omokodo. I love that man. He treats me so well. He really values me as his daughter. And he was preaching, and one of the things he said, when you come to the UK, one of the things that most of you Africans forget is that you cannot live with somebody who is not your husband or your wife, and you expect God to bless you with things like peppers, and you expect God to bless you with all the other things that you desire. First of all, you have not honored the aspect of marriage using the biblical way. So he would then encourage a lot of people in the church, if you know you are cohabiting and you like each other, come forward, do marriage counseling. After marriage counseling, let's bless you in the church so that your marriage can be blessed. And he carried on doing that, and a lot of people came out because it's normal to live with a man who is not your husband. And nowadays, people in Africa are also adapting that culture of living with a man who is not your husband. And it's not right. To be honest, it's not right. I know we face certain conditions in life that make us live with these people. Maybe you don't have any financial support, you don't have anybody to help you, and this person says, come and live with me. And you're thinking, but this person says he loves me. Very few men will marry you in that situation. So Pastor Alex Omokudu would always encourage us, and that rebuke, it always haunted me. And I remember telling this person, why don't you meet my parents? Obviously he's here, my parents are in Africa. And you know, it was near impossible. It was not impossible for this person to do that, because the person had already made up their mind that they wanted to be with somebody from their country, which is Ghana, and not somebody from Zambia. So you know, the Bible tells us that a man will leave his mother and father to be with his wife. He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So if the man has decided to find you as the good thing, why should you be cohabiting with this person? If you are a good thing, this man should pay your dowry. This man should see your family. This man should commit. And the best way to commit is by seeing your parents or sending relatives that can see your parents, so that your relationship is legit. You need the blessings of your parents. I don't even know how God blessed me, despite the fact that my parents were not even aware of me staying with this person. But I always prayed that nothing bad should happen to me. But eventually, when they got to know, I always wanted that blessing for my father, so that my father should bless my relationship. And because there was never a blessing from my father as well, what did you expect? You don't expect this to go as far as marriage, because the person has not respected your family to honor you as his wife, as something that he has found, the good thing that he has found. So my advice on relationships when it comes to cohabiting, don't cohabit. It's not worth it. It's better you are patient. There's a man out there for you that will love you, that will honor you, that you don't need to give kids to, and then you are left dumped with those children, and then the man goes off to marry another woman. And men are very good at saying, oh, she forced herself on me. Oh, I didn't even tell her to get pregnant. Oh, they are very good at saying all those things. And a man, even if he's 50, 60, 70, he can go off to marry a young girl. Whilst you, a young woman, you've been living with this person, you have a tag of you are married. That's what people will just see. People will see you guys as a married couple. And now after all these years of 7, 8 years you've been cohabiting with this person, everybody who knows you know, those people, they're a couple, they are married, you know, they have 2 children together. And then this person walks out on you and goes off and marries another person, and then you are stuck. Yeah, you're stuck. And then people will still be saying, but I thought you are married to a Ghanaian. Guys, I'm not married. If I was married, you would have seen my wedding. So every time I have to explain, because for all these years, I would post pictures on my Facebook. So all these years, it's a long time. I mean, from 2008 when I joined Facebook, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 6 years is a long time for you to think I'm married. But no, I was never married. I've never been married to a Ghanaian man. But I have cohabited with someone, and my advice on cohabitation is don't do it. It's a girl, Mutamz, also known as Mutamz. This week I'm all about advice, stories, relationships, whatever you can call it. So keep on tuning in as I download more real life stories to you guys. It's better I talk about myself than gossip about other people. Abi? Take care, guys. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. It's a girl, Mutamz, also known as Mutamz. If you enjoy more of my stories, stay tuned to my YouTube channel.